everyone, and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Cooper, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumours, and results. And there's 2 rounds to go, and the Saints get another victory and make that one step closer to making the final series. This equation is pretty plain and simple for my Saints. St Kilda win against Geelong or Brisbane, they automatically make it. They lose both, they could still make it, but it makes it a bit more unlikely with you needing a lot of results to go your way. Not an impossible amount of results, but probably 5 or so games to go your way, which could happen. But regardless, and oh, what a sweet feeling it'd be if the Saints not only win this week against Geelong. 1, I'd be rapt about beating a team I don't like. 1. 2, we'd be beating the team to make finals. Number 2. And number 3, the sweetest of them all, we would eliminate Geelong. The triple trifecta. 1, 2, 3 good things would happen tonight if we beat Geelong. It's a big if. And they're not in the greatest of form. We had a great game yesterday against Richmond, sorry. Played all right against Carlton in the first half. And Geelong, they started well against the Pies and then fell to shit in the second half. So, huge game Saturday night at Marble Stadium. Saints beat Cats. What a sweet feeling to be to 1, win and qualify for finals. 2, beat a team I don't like in Geelong. And 3, eliminate them from the finals race contention. Mathematically, there'd be no chance if they lose against us. And what a great feeling it'd be. Now, on the show today, we're going to go through the ladder and who can make it. It's down to 12 teams. The world-famous segment Scoops goes bang. And, were Melbourne robbed? Was the Petracca goal, or the review for that shot, a goal? I'll tell you what I think about it. And the Jeremy Cameron mark and the Jeremy Cameron, again, handball from Brad Close outside of the boundary line. I've got the footage lined up. We're going to go through and dissect it because this is single-handedly, again, I might be saying these words every week, but the AFL is getting worse and worse every single week with some umpiring decisions and rulings, and the AFL's ruling, oh my Lord. Boy, oh boy, wowee. We're in for a big show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to review the rounds that's gone and upcoming, my team of the week, my Supercoach Talk, and some announcements I would like to make as well. But first off, we'll start off with this. You want me on Cameo at cameo.com/Cooper G. You want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. Smash the sub button. We're about 680 odd subscribers away from 3,000. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Once we hit that, I guarantee you there will be some prize giveaways. And I don't lie to my fans. So there will be a prize giveaway of some sort. I'll get that out there eventually. And trust me, you do want to subscribe. You just want to subscribe. So if you haven't subbed, subscribe. And when we hit the 3,000 milestone, you'll need to send proof that you're a subscriber. And then you'll be automatically in the running to win this prize or prizes. It's also another thing. I want to aim for 20 likes with this video. So smash the like button and smash the sub button if you haven't already. And if you've done all that, thank you very much. I know who you are. And share the video around. This would be another thing you could do. It costs absolutely nothing. It's free. Share my videos, share my channel around. Any particular videos or just the channel itself. AFL information, trade rumors and results. Send them the link to this channel. And we greatly appreciate it. And also, I am on Spotify and Apple Podcasts under AFL information, trade rumors and results. You want to listen on there and you don't want to see my face, well, you can listen to it on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Now, it's going to be a big show, as I said. But one thing I want to address at the top, I would like to thank Marshy from Saints TV. Marshy is one of Jake's, I wouldn't say employees, but one of his mates he does his channel with. Jake mainly runs it, but he has Marshy and Joycey who he has helped him out when they do some interviews and whatnot. I had the honour from Marshy and the co to fill in for one of the boys and do a bit of roaming scoops pre-game at the Saints-Richmond game yesterday. I don't have any footage of it because I was roaming Brian. I was doing a roaming Brian with the microphone, getting fans to ask the 2 Saints players that were there on the afternoon, and talk about that. And yeah, luckily I had the choice to, a chance to do that and speak to Ollie Houghton, young Saints youngster, and James Furness as well. I was really good, so I really appreciate those boys for giving me that opportunity. Some breaking news too that just started while I'm recording, and it's that Paddy McCartan has officially announced his retirement after 63 AFL games due to concussion issues. We know the long documented history with Paddy McCartan concussions. I think it's 9 or so just in the AFL alone. And knowing him a little bit pre-AFL, I know he had a few concussions through local footy in Geelong as well. So unfortunate way for him to end, but hopefully he can never live a better life after that. And as soon as I'm talking about Paddy McCartan retiring, I'm getting sent through from one of my loyal subscribers that Nick Naitanui has retired. Now, I haven't looked this up. I can see the message and the link being sent to me from someone. So thank you to that individual if you're listening. Nick Nat has retired. Well, there you go. A year early in his contract, but I think it was the right move. They needed to move him on. He should have not got a contract for this year. He's too injury prone. Nick Nat's been a great player for the Eagles. Yeah, gee, that's a bit of surprise. Let me just get that up. If I can get that up. Yeah, let me get that up, gents. I gotta search this up. I've gotta search this up. Yeah, wow. There's obviously 33 years of yeah. Yeah, it's official. Nick Nat bows out. Wowee. Nick Naitanui retired at the age of 33 after 213 AFL games. So Nick Nat, we know how tremendous Nick Naitanui was and what a great lead tap ruckman he was, an agile ruckman. But it's the right decision. So, gee, a triple whammy. Luke Shuey, Shannon Hearn, and now you can add Nick Naitanui to the list of Eagles veteran retirements, and all of them were very key parts in their success in their long careers. That just probably leaves Dom Sheed and Jack Darling as two of their major, and Elliot Yeo, if he doesn't go in the trade, and Jamie Cripps as their probably most experienced players at the club. So they'll probably need to add some more experience into there. So why not Nick Nat on your career, 213 or 215, 213 AFL games. So why not Nick Nat? There you go. There's some breaking news. See, while I'm recording, I have Paddy McCartan retire and Nick Naitanui. Gee whiz Louise. We wish them both all the best. Now, it's time. Or is it time yet? I'm not going to keep you waiting too much longer. Oh, also, yeah, one other thing I want to mention too. The AFLW show I've got coming up, the AFLW show. Let me get the graphic. The profile picture, if you will, for the show. Like you can see there. Let me get the banner off for a second. The AFLW show presented by SCOOPS. You see on the top left, you've got Jess Warlaw, a new recruit for the Saints from the Brisbane Lions, key forward. Talia Fellows from the Hawthorn AFLW side. You've got Chloe Malloy, bottom left for the Sydney Swans. And bottom right, Maddie Sparkers from Essendon AFLW side. They're the poster girls, if you will, for my new show, which I'll be hopefully to start. Probably, they start in a couple of weeks. So I think it'll be the week leading up. So it could be as early as next week. I will confirm a date, and that I'm trying to get people to be on the show. If you know anyone that would like to be a part of the show, doesn't have to necessarily be an AFLW player. It could be someone that just wants to co-host with it and run the show with me. If you know anyone, message me on Instagram, AFL Info Live. But the AFLW show will be starting next week. If not next week, it'll be the week after. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm doing a lot of work in the background to trying to get people on the show to host with me, co-host, if you will. So to a degree, or be a part of the show on a weekly basis or on a one-off appearance or something like that. So I'm working through all that. So keep an eye out for that. Anyone that loves AFLW, this is the show to watch. And I've been doing some promotional intro videos for this. So putting a lot of work into this intro. So hopefully you can appreciate when the show does begin. I'm not going to give you any teasers of what it looks like yet, because it's in production at the moment. I've got these ideas. I've done some recordings and voiceovers and that. Hopefully I can make some additional additions to the intro if I can get who I want on and everything like that. Otherwise, I've got another backup plan as well. So, we'll keep an eye out. So keep an eye out for that. The AFLW show presented by me. You're starting next week or the week after. All right, now it's time. Oh, it's time for the world famous segment. Scoops goes bang. Oh, God. Now, I have people come out to me and say, Scoops, Geelong don't get favoured, mate. Look at the free kick differential. Blah, 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 blah. No. You know what? Geelong get favoured week after week after week. That's just the fact of life. Yeah, it's just true. It really, really is. It is a fact of life. Yeah, they do truly get favoured. And that's just a fact of life. Yeah, it's true. It really is. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. They get key free kicks at crucial part of the games. There's non-frees where they should be penalised that they're not given against them. So it's not always numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Just that's a newsflash. It's where they get them, what ones they don't get penalised for. Jeremy Cameron had the ball with Brad Close. There's two main examples here. There was plenty in the game that was shocking, but these are the two I've got for you. Jeremy Cameron and Brad Close had the ball marked, played on, handballed to Jeremy Cameron, did Brad Close, handballed it while out of bounds, and who he handballed it to while he was out of bounds, Brad Close, handballed it to Jeremy Cameron, who was out of bounds, stationary, then played on from the out of bounds line. How the hell is that allowed? And Cameron got a goal from that. 2 of his 7 goals were tainted. He had a good game, but still. That shouldn't have been allowed. I don't give a shit that Collingwood end up winning and it doesn't affect the result. It's the integrity and common sense that the umpires in the AFL do not show. The AFL came out and admitted this one was wrong. Oh, blatantly obvious. You couldn't lie yourself out of that one. But the next one was just as bad. The boundary umpire had clear vision right in front of it. No player was in his way except for Jeremy Cameron, who marked the ball. This is a separate incident. Over the boundary line, and he didn't even control it. First off, he didn't touch it before it crossed the boundary line for out in the full to be free for Collingwood. He then juggled it when it went over. He marked it between his elbows, really, and it rolled down to his hands. So how the hell did you play that a mark in play when first it was marked outside and juggled over while marking it over? It just seriously is pathetic. Here's the footage of what I'm talking about. If you don't, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but here's what the arc showed. Let's look at this. Look at the left footage in particular. Isaac Smith chips it so far out of bounds, not funny. And then you got Jeremy Cameron marking it. This is the footage that the arc showed. And that's what they based their decision off. That is so far over the line. That's not funny. You can see his foot in the right side. His foot is over the line. This is really laughable. It truly, truly is. They try to justify it here again. That bottom footage here you can see. That's over, gents, ladies and gentlemen. That is over. That is plain and simple. That is over the line. Look out top left. Look at the umpire's vision. Maynard doesn't affect the vision there. That truly is a joke. I'm sorry. That's a joke. And what was more of a joke is the AFL tried justifying it, saying an additional angle, this, showed it was a mark in play. You can never admit you're fully wrong, can you, AFL? Gil, Andrew Dillon, whoever the hell is making these decisions. How can you justify that? Admit you're wrong twice, and it'd be a stepping stone into admitting you're not always right. But you admit you're wrong once, and then you blatantly lie the next one. Where's your consistency? The umpiring is inconsistent. Your decisions and rulings are inconsistent. The MRO is inconsistent. The tribunal is inconsistent. The whole competition is inconsistent. Get rid of the inconsistency. We know people make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. But that is a mistake you can't make. That is blatantly obvious that is not a mark. And the break close one is certainly not. Now we move on to the Christian Petracca one, and this one was just as confusing. Almost. Well, each to their own, I guess. But like the Petracca one. Now, Petracca had a shot from goal. Cross the line, Marchbank. There was photo servicing. Did he touch it? Did he touch it? Well, I'm not so sure he did. I mean, it's really confusing as to how you could describe this. I mean, let me get a photo up of it if I got one here on the gallery. Let me see if I can find one. I did have it somewhere. Now, bear with me. I've got to get it up. How good, by the way, was the Platolate Guernsey they wore yesterday? It's absolutely terrific. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. All right, here's a photo. Actually, no, that's not the one I want. No, that's not the one I want. All right. Bear with me. I'll get it back up. You know what I mean? Like, you've seen it a million times, but I'm just trying to get it up for you guys, just so you could see it. But it was so blatantly obvious that it wasn't a mark. All right, I may have found one. Yeah, okay, let's hope this loads in. All right, here it is. Let me get that banner again. Wow, that's ideal that the photo's taken like that. Now, my face is being covered by that. But you can see, if you can zoom in on the screen, gents, you can see the first shot, the Marchbank hasn't touched it. Second one looks like it may have clipped his elbow, definitely didn't knock his hand. And then the other one looks like it's just missing. So you get my point. It's like, so the decision was umpire's call, insufficient evidence. And the umpire's decision was behind. I get all that. But it really didn't look like it was touched. Now, this could cost Melbourne a top 2 spot. Not that they deserve it. Not that they deserve it, to be honest. But to Carlton deserve the win. Carlton played well. They dominated the game, and they deserved the win in general play. But this incident on the ladder would have lost them the game, very likely. It could have cost them finals. Now Carlton will probably make it due to that. Is that a way you really want to make it? And that's another AFL decision that they didn't admit they're wrong. In fact, I don't think they've even addressed it. But Melbourne fans to say they're robbed, it's probably insufficient evidence to say that was not touched, going off the goal umpire's decision. But the technology is to blame. The AFL have a buttload of money, and they can't get proper cameras. That's their issue. That's not Melbourne's issue or Carlton's issue. That's the AFL. Again, got all this money and technology, and you can't have a camera angle on each side of the goalpost, or have one behind the goal somehow that zooms in and is kept zoomed in on about post height, where a player can only go as high. But nah, they can't. They can't afford it, apparently. I don't know. What's their reason for not having it? It's ridiculous. If all these clear cameras, I see people that film games have better technology than the AFL do for their goalpost vision. Like, seriously. My camera footage, I know it's not the clearest at times, but it's clearer than that I just showed you. And when you're watching it right now, it's clearer than the footage. The photo I had shown you that the AFL had. Like, seriously. Lift your game, AFL. Stop ruining the game. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Now, also, one thing I wanted to mention earlier, which I'm going to mention it right now, is Ben Cunnington. God. Ben Cunnington retired on the weekend. Unfortunately for the Roos, they couldn't get the win. There's some great photos that I've posted on my Facebook and Instagram channel with Ben Cunnington. Had a hug with Brad Scott, but this is a really good photo, and I'm sure Cunnington will be one to cherish his photo forever. Going off with his kids. Jack Zeeble, Jai Simpkin, Luke McDonald, Todd Goldstein, and Jack Zeeble all either carry Ben off or carry his kids off. And it was a really good moment. You can see how much Jai Simpkin meant to Ben Cunnington and vice versa. Also, when he announced his retirement during the week, you saw how emotional Jai Simpkin got. And I know a lot of North fans said that was the moment where they broke down completely when Jai was getting upset when he went to hug Ben during the week when they announced his retirement, how much he meant to him. And obviously, Jai being a co-captain now of Luke McDonald, obviously Ben paved the way for Jai Simpkin. And Ben, as he would admit, was struggling to get a game, and fair enough that he wasn't dominating the twos, but he had a really good game actually in his retirement game, funnily enough. A lot of these plays, Dan Hanbury had a great retirement game. He had 31 touches or something, kicked a goal, I think. So Cunnington did something very similar. 2 goals, 22 disposals, 11 contested possessions, I think. Had some tackles, was in the game late, kicked a goal late. Thought the Roos could win, but the Bombers ruined Ben Cunnington's farewell game. But regardless, Ben's been through a lot of health battles, obviously with cancer, and just personally hearing stories of that about anyone just gets me sick. I remember a story when and thankfully this person's okay now, was Robbie Gray. I remember when I heard the Robbie Gray one, anytime I hear it, I get emotional to a degree and feel sick inside. And the Robbie Gray one, for whatever reason, at the time of that happening, really got to me bad. And this one and Sam Doherty's were very similar, and it's great to see all three have recovered. And Cunners obviously said he lost passion for the game and everything like that. We wish Ben all the best. A warrior was Ben Cunnington. And there's some good photos with Brad Scott, his former coach of coaching Essendon, hug him when he was going down the race in North Melbourne. Let him have his moment here, let them be cheered off, and then Brad walked down to the race once Ben was away from the cameras to a degree, and went and hugged him and had a chat to him there. So kudos to Brad Scott for doing that, and for both clubs. Cheering off a true shin boner in Ben Cunnington. Right on, Ben. Actually, this is probably very fitting to play a clip I normally play during my live streams for the quiz. But Ben Cunnington, you truly do deserve it, mate. Yeah, again, well done to Ben Cunnington. All right. Now, let's go through the AFL ladder. 2 rounds to go. It's up for grabs. I'm going to get rid of the banner again. Banner's always covering some part of it, isn't it? Okay. So on the ladder, what I'm essentially going to do is tell you that North and West Coast are equal last on 8 points. North, they got Gold Coast in the last game in Tassie. And whoever they got this week, North, they are not winning. And I think it is a team at the top. Richmond, but I don't think they win that. So they're not winning a game. Can West Coast win a game? They got the Bulldogs this week in Marvel. They won't win that, you would think. And then they got Adelaide in Perth. And the last game in Shuey and Hearn's last game. And Nat Nui's to a degree, but he won't be playing Nat Nui, obviously. Can they step up with a win for their legendary retirements? We'll have to wait and see. But let's eliminate them. Hawthorn been terrific. They're 8 points behind Gold Coast, so they won't be able to catch up, and the percentage. So we're not going to talk about them. Gold Coast are eliminated. Freo are eliminated. Richmond are eliminated. So it's down to 12. Top 4. We're going to talk about the top 4 bracket first. Top 4 can't change in terms of the teams in it. The order can. Pies are on 68. Brisbane are on 60, as are the Power, and Melbourne on 56. So Collingwood have Brisbane this week at Marvel. If Collingwood win that, they've secured top spot. If Collingwood lose that, then lose to Essendon the following week. If Brisbane beat Collingwood and the Saints, Brisbane would go to top if they gained 3.5%. But keeping in mind, they play Collingwood. So if they gain 1% on Collingwood, Collingwood essentially lose a point. So they're really gaining 2% to a degree. Then they would have to win some form of percentage against the Saints by maybe 20-odd points or something, which could happen, unfortunately. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully not. And then the Power, they've got 2 interesting games. They got Richmond in the last round, and then the Power this week have who do the Power have? They got Freo in Perth, so 2 winnable games for the Power. So they could be a dark horse as well. Then you got Melbourne on 56 points. Let it slip on the weekend against Carlton. They will actually mathematically they're no guarantee to stay in fourth. Because Carlton are 6 points behind them. Carlton would have to beat GWS and a Gold Coast in Queensland. And then Melbourne would have to lose both games. We've got Sydney at the SCG in the last game, Melbourne. And this week they've got, who have Melbourne got this week? They've got Hawthorn at the MCG, which really is no guarantee. But I think Melbourne will be safe. So we're going to use this as a top 4 bracket. I feel that the ladder will probably stay in that order that it is right now for the top 4. I think that's the order it'll stay in, just quietly. Maybe Port might swap around with Brisbane, but I think Collingwood and Melbourne will stay in those positions. So in 5th place, we've got Carlton on 50 points. They could potentially go 4th if Melbourne lose both and they win both. In fact, they would. But I don't know if they beat the Giants or the Suns. I generally think that those 2 games could go the other way. They could easily win both. They could take 1-1. They could easily lose both. But I think they will be safe. There's 6 points in the 8 right now, behind Essendon and GWS, who play each other this week. We'll get to that in a second. Then the Saints, they're on 48 points, a percentage of 107.0. This is where it gets to get a bit tighter. Plain and simple, the Saints beat Geelong as it's off the top. They're in. They beat Brisbane. One of them wins. They win one of them. They are in, which would be great. Absolutely great. And it'd be a really good day if that happens Saturday night or the following Saturday afternoon. Then you got the Swans on 46 points. They've got the Crows in Adelaide this week, and they've got Melbourne at the SCG next week. So they could easily win one, win both, or lose both. So they're in the 8 by 2 points. So they're the one probably at most risk with the next side, the Western Bulldogs, on 44 points. Let it slip against the Hawks in Tassie. What a win for the Hawks. We'll get to that, Hawks fans. Don't you worry. They're on 44 points at 108.5%. So really good percentage gap on Essendon. The same points on 44 at 99.1. And in 10th place, the Giants on 44 points at 98.6. So only 0.5 behind the Bombers, Essendon on percentage. The loser of Essendon and GWS is officially, mathematically, out. Finito. Done. The winner could be in the 8 at the end of the round. And how interesting that'd be. No guarantee, but at least could be on equal with points with the Bulldogs if that happens. And then the Bulldogs have to beat Geelong in the last game. So that's going to be interesting there. And Essendon in the last game got the Pies. The Giants in their last game, they've got the Carlton Footy Club and Marvel. And this week, the Giants. Who do the Giants have? They have a... Who the hell? Oh, that's right. They got the Bombers, as I just said. You fool. And I think they win that. So you're going to know. And if Geelong lose to the Saints, they're eliminated. And if the Crows lose to the Swans, they're eliminated. The Crows would have to win both. Or Geelong, on 42, or 2 points out of the 8. They'd have to win both to make it, you would think, logically speaking. And in fact, they wouldn't, unless Essendon and GWS drew, which I don't think that's happening. So Geelong would have to win both games. They lose to one of the Saints or the Bulldogs are out. Adelaide definitely have to win both to Sydney and West Coast in Perth, which they could win both. But they still might not make it that way. We have to wait and see. So yeah, the race is down to 12. The other teams from Richmond down are gone. They are finished. Io means I. They are finished. Finito. They are finito. The Tigers, Suns, Dockers, Hawks, Roos, and Eagles. Who do you think will make it personally? I feel that the Bulldogs will go out for the Giants. Beware the Giants. I've said they've been the dark horse all year. They're no longer the dark horse. They mean business to the Giants. And I'll be pretty disappointed, though, with how they performed against the Power yesterday. All right. Let's go now to... Well, actually, no, before we go review the rest. Now it's time for my AFL Team of the Week. From the back line first, the Pockets, Nick Newman and Harry Sheasel. Fullback, Zane Cordy. Half-back line, the flankers, Jack Sinclair and Nick Blakey. Centre half-back, Harris Andrews. Wingman, Josh Dacos and Nick Martin. Centreman, Jai Newcomb. Half-forward line first, the flankers, Will Haywood and Brody Myercheck. Centre half-forward, Jeremy Cameron. Forward pockets, Lockie Schultz and Shane McAdam. Full forward, all hail the king, Max King, who kicked 6. The Ruckman, Rowan Marshall, Rovers, Zach Butters, and Tom Green. Interchange, Jade Gresham, Nick Larkey, Carl Amon, and Hugh McCluggage. And the sub, Matt Crouch. The emergencies, Andy Brayshaw, Rory Laird, Sam Sturt, Jai Amiss, and Malcolm Roses. Now, reasonings for my selections. Nick Newman, back-to-back strong weeks of over 30 disposals, 33 on the weekend. Did terrific. Is one of the key plays as to why they won. A lot of intercept possessions as well for Nick Newman. Zane Cordy did a terrific job on the Richmond forwards, who were nowhere to be seen. About 15 disposals, but it wasn't that. It was 5 intercept marks, 9 9 spoils, like 10 1%ers, intercept possessions, like 9 as well, 9 or 10. Deserved a spot on the team. It did a terrific job and probably will secure his spot if we make finals too, over Dougal Hare when he comes back in the finals if we make it. Harry Sheasel, 33 disposals, was the Roos' best player, or one of. Halfback one, Jack Sinclair, 33 disposals. He lead efficiency, as always. Breaks the lines. Might chip one forward 30 metres, but then he runs and runs and runs to go past to get the handball and then clears and runs through the middle and sets up another chain. He's terrific, Jack Sinclair. Harris Andrews, another big game. Kicked a goal, his first goal in 2 years since 2021. Had a decent game as well. Nick Blakey, terrific. 28 odd disposals. Run off halfback was important for them. A lot of intercept possessions as well. Josh Dacos, 38 disposals, one of the best on the ground in that game. If he wasn't the best, he was definitely second best. John Newcomb, 41 disposals. He was awesome. Lock in the team kicked a goal as well. Nick Martin kicked 3 in 32. Had to be in the team on the wing. He's having a good year as Nick Martin. Will Hayward, the forwards was really hard to pick, if I'm being honest. Will Hayward kicked 4, and it was a great impact in why the Swans beat the Suns. Jeremy Cameron kicked 7. 2 of them shouldn't have been allowed, and you know what I'm talking about. Brody Meyer kicked 5, had a really good game, back to form after a lean month, as he admitted. Lockie Schultz kicked 5 and 22 disposals, was an absolute lock. All hail the king, Max King. Ben was out this week with knee soreness. Max kicked 6 on Noah Bolter. How's that one go for you, Noah? There wasn't raining this time, champ. Shane McAdam kicked 4 and was really impactful in the Crows, despite their one goal lost in the Lions. Rowan Marshall was terrific in the ruck, beat Nick Kervis Soldo. Butters was terrific as well, 34 disposals, did well. A lot of metres gained as well for Zachy Butters. Tom Green, despite them losing, he was terrific. A goal, 31 disposals, a lot of clearances and contested possessions, and efficiency was decent. That is Tom Green to a T, and he'd be one of the midfielders from any club outside of St Kilda that I would like for ours. Tom Green and Andy Brayshaw would be the two that come to mind. Interchange Jake Gresham was terrific, especially early. 3 goals, 22 possessions as a small forward, was awesome. 3 in the first half, but he still had 11 possessions in the second half. Same as what he had in the first half, 22 for the game. Nick Larkey kicked 5, stiff not to be on the ground, but it would have been way too tall on the forward line, so he's on the bench. Carl Amon, goal, 32 on the wing. I had him on the wing originally, then I almost forgot to put Nick Martin in, so he got bumped down to the bench, and Crouch got pushed to the sub because of this. McCluggage, terrific, 2 goals, 28 disposals. While the lines were down, he was one of the first to kick in those goals and had a really good game on the wing as well. And Matt Crouch, 33 disposals. What a great form he's in, Matt Crouch, since come back in. Should have been in a long time ago. A lot of people say he doesn't do much of his possessions. 80-odd% efficiency, like 9 clearances for the game, like 7 score involvements. He did really well, did Matt Crouch. And Brayshaw, Laird had big numbers, and normally I would put them in, but they're uncontested possessions. Not many clearances for them guys playing midfield. So that's why they're on the bench, the emergency list. Sam Sturt kicked 4, was good. Malcolm Rose kicked about 3. It was really impactful. I thought for the Suns and kept them in it, especially in their forward mix. Was running and doing zigzag patterns around players. He was doing really well. So, yeah, he's going from one position to the next, twist, turn, run around his player, do some little side steps. He done some really good work. Malcolm Roses, who's been in and out of the side for the Suns this year. All right, now it's time to review the round 22 games, and oh boy, wowee. Yeah, let's go through them. So it was all the way back on Friday night at the MCG. It was Geelong host and the Pies, and lucky for the teams around the 8 that Geelong lost. Collingwood 109 defeated Geelong 101. Collingwood by 8 points. Darcy Moore done a hamstring out for 2 to 3 weeks. Unfortunate. Geelong, Gary Rowan might not play this week against the Saints. Will Tom Hawkins come back? We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully not, ideally. Geelong started well, and they probably looked the dominant side at the start, and the Pies were not going well. But in typical Collingwood fashion, they dominated the third quarter, and that's really set up the win for them. And Myercheck, Josh Dacos. Nick Dacos is obviously out for 6 weeks. He'll be back probably semi-final week, prelim final week, if the Pies don't make it that. If they do make it that far, which you would think they would, obviously. Yes, so Josh was good. Jack Ginnivan, I thought, as a sub coming on early for Darcy Moore, I thought he did a good job. And actually, you know what? Actually, I'm going to address this. I should have mentioned this in scripts as bang. We get the Ginnivan ducks, right? But Joel Selwood made a career out of ducking and got free kick, and he got applauded for going, he's just smart. He learns the craft so well. Well, how come Ginnivan, Waitman, and Jack Loney in the past of the Saints were players that did it? These are players at the time we had. There's plenty more that do it the shrug. Luke Shuey does it, you know? And they don't get away with it consistently. But Joel Selwood made a career out of doing it, mate. He had made a career out of ducking. And the treatment Ginnivan cops for it is pathetic. And Kane, who has been a hater of Ginnivan early in his career for this type of stuff, is now defending him, surprisingly. But Kane's right about the AFL, how the fans and the umpires treat him is ridiculous. And I do agree with that. He gets treated unfairly, and I thought he had a really good game as a sub. I wonder if Craig keeps him in the team this week. I'm still a bit concerned about Darcy Cameron in the ruck. McStay did a really good job for Brisbane in the final series as a ruckman. Maybe they should try that. Put Darcy as a forward. They got some movement. Cox, I don't think he comes back in. He shouldn't. He might. They were a bit inconsistent in that area. But he got the win. The Pies. Cameron kicking 7 holes. It was terrific. 5 of them were legit. But yeah, great win for the Pies in the end. Right, the next game I'm going to go through on Saturday at Marvel Stadium is the Roos hosting the Bombers in Cunners' last game. I mentioned that earlier, so I'm not going to repeat it again. North Melbourne 77 defeated by the Bombers 86. Gee, another game that Essendon didn't scrape through. Really, it's pretty bad from them, really. They don't deserve to play finals. The Giants should give them a spanking this week and officially, mathematically end their season. I don't think they make it at all, but mathematically they can't make it if they lose this week. So I thought North was the better side. Cunnington was terrific. He had 2 goals, 22 touches. Larkey was good. Davies Uniacke was decent. Zeeble was pretty good. Sheasel was terrific. Yeah. Not more to say. I said it really early in the Cunnington bit. The Roos deserved the win, and the Bombers, they scraped it. Nick Martin was their best player, 3 goals and 32 possessions. We're on to the next early game was Sydney and Gold Coast at the SCG, officially ending the Suns season. Sydney 114 defeated the Suns 90, Sydney by 24. Gold Coast were in this game. There's a little patch in the game, I think, where Sydney, I think this thing was in the third quarter, where they kicked like 3 goals in 5 minutes, and that kind of stuffed the Suns' chances. They got a chance early in the last, missed a few, Kaz Bold and that missed a few chances, and then the Swans just piled it on late to win by 24 points. Disappointing for the Suns. Witsy was terrific. Sam Day played his 150th game finally, but was scratchy early there, but worked his way into the game. Might be his last season now at the Suns. There's only 2 inaugural Suns players left, David Swallow and Sam Day. Swallow will probably be the one that lasts longer in the AFL system, but regardless, both been good assets for them for sure, and loyal have they both been. Trial game at the Gabba. The Crows losing to the Lions by 6 points. Brisbane 99 defeated the Crows 93. Brisbane by 6 points. Well, they were terrific in the end, the Brisbane Lions, but Crows red hot 3 goals to nil. Start McAdam kicked a couple early, and it was just like, oh boy, what's going to happen here? McCluggage got them back in the game, kicking 2 in the first quarter as well. It's just the Crows have always been in there. They're a dangerous team. They haven't been winning lately. They've lost a lot of games under 10 points. I think I've seen the stat is if they changed the ladder for games they would have won that they lost by under a goal or under 10 points or something, the Crows would be like 5th and pretty clear in the other thing by 2 games or something. So it just goes to show that these close games are so important. And look where the Crows are now. They're fighting to make the spot on 40 points. They could be on like 52 points. So maybe even 3 games different to what they are now. So it is what it is. The Crows had opportunities. They were probably robbed against, who was it? It was against Collingwood. Yeah, when Elliott clipped Dawson in the face in the MCG not too long ago, and they lost for like 2 points when there would have been about 20 seconds left. Jordan Dawson's good kick, 45 metres out directly in front, essentially, on a mini angle, if that. But But yeah, they've had a few of them. Besides that, the other ones, they can't blame anyone but themselves. It's very frustrating, I would feel, if you're a Crows fan out there. But they've got two options, the Swans and then the Eagles. The Eagles will win. The Swans, if they win that, they are a chance. So wait and see. Saturday night, it was the Blues beating the Demons by 4 points. We just spoke about the controversy, 60-56. Carlton by 4 points. Now, I don't understand why the commentary kept raving and raving about how great this game was, and this is finals footy standard, and this is elite. 60-56, last time I checked, this is an elite scoreboard. It wasn't wet conditions, so there's no excuses for that. It was a solid game, but calm your farm, gents and ladies. It was a Daisy Pearce, Luke Darcy, Hamish McLaughlin. Like, calm down. It wasn't that good. You're only saying that because they're two teams you like and they're going to be in finals, so you got to pump them up. And they're two big Victorian clubs. That's why you're doing it. If this was a St Kilda versus North Melbourne, you'd be saying how shit it is. Let's be real. So just temper your expectations, fair, whatever. But to pump it up because they're two big sides, if this was St Kilda North, you wouldn't be saying this. I guarantee you'd be saying sloppy skills. This is why they're not playing finals. Yada yada yada. It's just like, seriously, just calm your expectations. Seriously, wasn't that good? But Carlton, they were good. They deserved the win, just not with that Petracca play at the end. They dominated the play. Nick Newman was good. Blake Agers was good again. Wiedering, Newman, as I said. It's had some good contributors, even contributors. And for Melbourne, Oliver did all right in his first game back. First game back from 10 weeks. For the people that kept him in Supercoach, was it worth the wait? Did he score 100? I don't think he did. If he did, he only just got over it. I'm going to get to Supercoach Talk soon, so just keep an eye out for that. But yeah, the game wasn't as good as people set it out to be for me. A game that was awful was the Derby. Eagles 33, defeated by the Dockers in huge fashion, a spanking, 101 points. The Dockers 134-33, the Eagles. Drama before the game, Jack Williams, Brady Hoth went out for an illness. After the siren, the AFL, you saw Drew Petrie on the phone with Simo and everything like that. The AFL people were on the ground or on the bench talking to the coach Simo and Petrie and everyone like that at the Eagles, and got to prove Greg Clark, who was the sub, stayed as the sub, and Jack Williams, who wasn't emergency, but wasn't the sub, got brought into the team for Brady Hoth. And that's where the drama started. And then on field, it was just even worse. Spanked around the ball, spanked inside 50. The Eagles get the first 2 goals of the game, though, so they were red hot to start with, despite that drama. But then after that, the Dockers kicked the next 17 goals, the next 20 goals, or however many they got. It was just embarrassing. 2014 the Dockers got, so could have been even more pain for Adam Simpson and the Eagles. Sarong, Brayshaw, Amiss, Sturt, Ryan, Hayden Young, some of the good players for the Dockers. Heath Chapman's out for the rest of the year too, by the way, for people that were wondering at the Dockers. Heath Chapman, it was announced late last week that he's out for the rest of the season. But yeah, big problem for the Eagles, that game. I thought, actually, no, I'm not going to say who I thought was best on ground because then I'm giving my Brownlow votes away. Which reminder, Brownlow votes between the Scoops medal will be down between round 24 and we won the finals will be on a Tuesday night probably. So keep that in your dictionary, in your diary, on your phone, on your notepads or whatever. Put a reminder on your calendar, something. Do that. Scoops medal, very likely Tuesday, not next Tuesday, the Tuesday after. So keep your diaries peeled. I'll still have Kick It Scoops on that Monday, so there'll be reminders then. But keep an eye out. Put that in your calendar. Scoops medal. I'm just trying to think of the date. Actually, no, not next Tuesday, which would be the 22nd. Tuesday, the 29th of August will be when the Scoops medal is. So keep an eye for that. Tuesday, 29th of August, the Scoops medal. Not next Tuesday, the Tuesday after. Sunday games. The Hawks and the Bulldogs. The Hawks, 67, defeated the Bulldogs 64. Hawks by 3 points. Well, the Bulldogs got no one to blame themselves. They had a 21-point lead at 1 point. Jai Newcomb, Warple, Lewis, all terrific. The Bulldogs, their best possession getter was at 23 disposals. Not good. You had Jai Newcomb get 41. Carl Amon had 32 and kicked a goal. Was terrific. The Hawks midfield destroyed the Bulldogs midfield. How'd you go there? Bond, McRae, Treloar, Baker when he came on as a sub for Liberatore, who got concussed. How did you go then? Shea Winger ruptured his Achilles out of the game, unfortunately, for 9 to 12 months, being reported by Josh Galbelich on the AFL website. So we wish Chad all the best. For 9 to 12 months, who had started to get some form. I think personally he should be traded out. But now that he's traded, he probably won't be worth any trade because he's not really going to play next year, if any time at all. So that'll probably get shut down now. He'll probably just stay at the Hawks for the rest of his career now. It will add no value because he's not going to be playing next year, if any games next year, unfortunately for him. And any potential suitors for him, unless they think he can go next year on top of next year, then maybe. But I think that talk might drop now. So that injury. The Hawks are terrific. Bulldogs are pretty poor. Plain and simple, the Bulldogs ruined an opportunity. What are they doing having Rory Lobb playing other positions? Tim English took the kick out. Now, on my live stream last night, people going, no, you just don't have him, and that's why they lost. They had 45 seconds. It wasn't 25 seconds. I get that Bailey Dale or Caleb Daniel should have been taking the kick out. But Tim English didn't do any play. If Caleb Daniel or Bailey Dale did that, what Tim English did, no one really bashed an eyelid. I agree, though, that Tim English should have been where the ball was kicked to and not be the kicker. I get that, and I agree with that. But it's just interesting there. Now, next game. Oh, it's the Saints. 93 defeated the Tigers, 57. Saints was 36 points. They smashed them from the start. 5 goals to 3, quarter time, I think it was. 5 goals to 1 at one point. And we kept that margin throughout the rest of the game. Dominated Marshall, Sinclair. Seb Ross was great in his return game from a hamstring for 5 weeks. Maxi King kicked 6. Filippo was decent. Winhager did well as well. St. Cordy was terrific. The whole team was good. It's great to see Ross the boss. Great win, Ross. Membry was good upon his return. Will there be any changes? I mean, probably not. So you should see, will Hunter Clark come back into the 22? Ross said after the game he didn't want to take him out. It was more of a tactical side of things. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it ends up. Now, for Richmond, there was no good players, so I'm not going to mention anything. In fact, actually, Jacob Bauer in his 3rd game, 2 goals, 9 disposals. I thought he was their best player, and he had minimal possessions. Probably shows how they really played. But I thought he was a right and serviceable part of their key forward change, and he kicked 2 and had some nice marks. So I thought he did a decent job for them. The final game, a bit of a shock. The Power spanked the Giants, didn't they? Jesus Christ. Port Adelaide, 136, smashed the Giants 85, Port by 51. You would think for a team that scored 85, that you're like, oh, they won by a couple of goals or 30 points. No, they lost. Oh, what, by a goal or something? No, 51 points. Like, really? The Power, they were terrific. 7 goals to 3 in the first quarter. That's where it set it up, really. Well, 8 goals to 3. And unfortunately for the Giants, they fought back to even the scoreboard to a degree. They only really lost about 2 or 3 goals in the last 3 quarters, or 5 goals maybe. But the damage was done, unfortunately. But they weren't so bad after that big quarter where they conceded a bunch of goals, 8 goals. There was like 6 goals to 4, so it's like they were still conceding heavily. But the Power, credit where credit's due for the Giants. So Tom Green and Toby Green were their best players, along with Jake Riccardi, the Riccardi party who kicked 4, who's out of contract. A lot of Victorian clubs are circling him to join their club. But for the Power, Butters, Rosie, Warren Francis, Todd Marshall, some of their better players. Travis Boak was laid out with illness, so he should be back next week. But interesting to see how the Power go this week and then the following week against Richmond. Now, who does Power have? Fremantle, who have Luke Jackson as their ruckman. It's going to be very interesting to see. The Sam Darcy, does Dante Vicentini come back in? There's Finlayson ruck. Lysette, when's he back? We don't know. Charlie Dixon's not back till finals, so really interesting to see how the Power combat the ruck situation against Fremantle, where they had Kieran Briggs yesterday. All right, the next game. So that's the reviewing the round. Just gone. So Horn Francis was pretty good for the Power. If I didn't say that already, kicked 3 in 27, but his best game for the club by far. Let's go through my Supercoach talk. So I scored 2,314, and I'm still in the top 6%. I'm surprised. I thought I had a really good score. It was top 12% for the round. I thought, oh, well, I'm going to drop 1% or so. I went up about 300 in the rankings, so I'm still in the top 6%. I want to hope to end in the season in the top 5%. I've got no trades left. So Nick Dacos last week was my last trade out for James Sicily, who I got back in. So that's my team there. Dawson, Sinclair, Stewart, Sicily, Will Day, Luke Ryan, bench, Mullen and Constable. Mids, Laird, Brayshaw, Neal, Rao, Petracca, Caleb Sarong, Jack Steele and Paddy Cripps. Ideally, I was wanting to trade Cripps to a Zach Merritt type, but unfortunately the Dacos trade stuff that up. The bench and the midfielders, Luke Nankervis, Matt Roberts, and Ryan Angwin. Actually, Roberts is now on my 4-line bench, but anyway. And Drury's there instead of Roberts. Rucks, Wits and Briggs, bench and Moyle. Forwards, Butters, Sheasel, Cornelio, Rosie, Tarano, Goulden, bench, Ryan Marrick, and Matt Roberts, who played on the weekend. Welcome back, Matt. So the trades for this round is nil because I've got none, like a lot of people don't have. How's your Supercoach going? Let me know down below. Message me AFL Info Live on Instagram if you want to talk about Supercoach or anything at all. If you know any people that would be interested in being on the AFLW show in some capacity, please message me right here. It says AFL Info Live on Instagram. We greatly appreciate that. Now let's go preview round 23. It's a big round, 2 rounds to go. On Friday night at Marvel Stadium, it's the Pies hosting the Brisbane Lions at Marvel. Friday night, 7:50. It's a toughie. Brisbane play better at Marvel than they do the G, obviously. I'm going to be tipping the Pies, but this is really 50-50. Will Oscar McInerney play? It'll be interesting to see if he plays under an injury cloud. Probably will play, though. I'll be tipping Collingwood. Saturday, 1:45 at the MCG. It's Richmond hosting North Melbourne. I'll be tipping Richmond there. Gold Coast hosting Carlton, 2:10 at Heritage Bank Stadium in Queensland. The Suns going to make the 8, but hopefully they can try and stuff up Carlton's momentum. I'm actually going to tip the Suns. Would you believe it? I'm actually tipping the Suns at home. Yes, you heard me correctly. Hopefully Ben King's back to help strengthen that team. Hopefully they don't concede. Carlton can't keep winning every day. They've won 8 in a row now, which is terrific for them, and congratulations to them. They can't keep winning. Now, an elimination final to a degree. The Twilight game at Giants Stadium is the Giants hosting the Bombers, 10th v 9th. The loser is out. The winner is probably in the 8th end of the round. 4:35 Vic time at Giants Stadium. I'm going to the Giants to give the Bombers. The Giants won't surrender. The Bombers will concede, and they will be out. Huge game Saturday night. It's the Saints hosting Geelong. Saturday night, Marvel Stadium, 7:25 Vic time. Obviously tipping my Saints to secure a final spot here with this win. And Geelong are eliminated, hopefully. So I'm obviously tipping my Saints there. Hopefully Hawkins stays out this week. Even if he's in, we can still win. Another elimination final to a degree. Well, it is for Adelaide at least. And could be for Sydney if they lose this to a degree as well. Adelaide v Sydney. Adelaide Oval, Saturday night, 7:40 Victorian time. I'm tipping the Crows, which gives them both a chance to still make the 8. It'll depend on the other results, actually, for me, who I want to win this, but I'll be tipping Adelaide in this one right now. Only because it's at home. I've got to still change my tip to Sydney. Sunday, 1:10, Marvel Stadium, Vic time. 1:10 Vic time at Marvel. Bulldogs hosting West Coast. Bulldogs will win, but if they lose, they're officially done, the Bulldogs. Sunday, 3:20 at the MCG, rather, Vic time. It's Melbourne hosting Hawthorn, 3:20 Vic time. I'll be tipping Melbourne, but do not write off the Hawks. Yeah, I'm this close to actually tipping the Hawks. They beat Collingwood. They beat Melbourne. They beat Hawthorn, have beaten Collingwood and Brisbane and the Bulldogs lately. So who's to say they can't beat an inconsistent Melbourne? But I've tipped Melbourne to be safe. The final game on Sunday, 4:40 at Sunday, 4:40 at Optus Stadium, 4:40 Vic time. It's Victoria. 4:40 Victorian time. Fremantle hosting Port Adelaide. I'll be tipping the Power there to probably go back into second place potentially for them if Brisbane were to lose to Collingwood. So that's my tip there. Port Adelaide to beat the Dockers by maybe 20 points. Or maybe even 40, to be honest. Between 20 and 40, I think. Wouldn't shock me if it's close, but that's what I'm going with. Now, my final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo, to cameo.com Cooper G. You want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com /Cooper G. Please smash the like button if you haven't already. Turn on the bell for all notifications. We'll aim for 20 likes to this video. So if you haven't smashed that like button, don't disappoint me. Smash the like button and smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. Get your mates on board. Just smash the subscribe button. And also subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Come on, Saints. Get the bloody win. And also, check out my matchday vlog. You see me. I sat at ground level. Seen some clear footage, some excitement, some passion. How loud it was at Marvel last night, yesterday afternoon. 31,000 there. Just over 31,000. It was loud. Very loud. Go check out that vlog. I'll pin it down below. If I haven't, go check it on the video section on my channel. It'll be below this video, under the video section. Thank you all. Until the next video, take care. The most important thing of all to remember is go the Saints, and of course, acknowledge me, the one And all aboard the Filippo train.